Proof of posting. We could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could get a motion to go into non-public, please.
I'll make a motion, we go into non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2B.
I will second.
Second by Steve. Joe?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Had the issue since then. We're gonna try to get through the first like mostly that solve the problem.
I pressed it earlier.
We just figured out that we didn't have the Google Meet volume on, minor detail.
We should probably start over.
You want to call the meeting to order? Yeah, proof of posting.
No, we had it on for that because it was on. I shut it off. We went off.
Oh.
I hit it again when we came back.
Yeah, I did see you hit it.
Oops.
It's Google's fault.
Now the one out here. Wherever the heck,
Yep.
yeah. Would that last longer than 40 years, you think? Or, I know we should replace it probably anyhow, but
I think, yes. I mean, we've been good with it so far. We have no issues with it. We see no signs it's failing or anything, else you know about it. But just due diligence, put it in when it should be.
I mean, where it is, you probably don't want to have it fail because there's
No, because we wouldn't have high school.
there was a lot of down there and stuff like that. So
Be bad. There's no signs of it failing and it operates. We have no issues with it, but it just what it should be replaced. That's why it's in the out years.
thank you.
All right, middle school flooring upgrades, 42,000 is to replace the flooring in 2 common areas, which we've been chugging through little by little from the budget. So there's 2 up there. The middle school chain link fences, this is for the baseball backstop and essentially the third baseline fence, which wasn't done with the first portion of the fence project we did a couple of years ago. It's what it is, the baseball backstop of the middle school, kids play baseball. The next one is the RHS replacement windows. This is to replace all outside windows. The windows are original to the building. We just be looking at putting in more energy efficient windows in the entire building. Next one, similar lines, is replacing the entry doors at the high school. We have done the gym set, and we're looking at possibly doing another set this year just because of the quality of them. But this is to do 8 sets at 139,000. This is with steel entry doors like we have now. Next one is the LRS roof coating. The idea behind this roof coating for 418-034, the idea around the roof coating was at the time we were gonna do the seams, and then we were gonna do the roof coating on the entire field. And we're gonna extend the warranty of, get another 10-year warranty when we did them together. We pretty much passed the time in between, so I'm not sure with this 418, we have to double check we get that 10-year warranty we talked about. But this is a roof coating just to go over the entire LRS roof, which we did push it out because we did the seams, which it did work very well. And we have, there's very little wear and tear on the field part of it, so it doesn't look like it's in bad shape. The roof was only warranted till 2014, but it seems to be doing fine. There's no leaks or anything like that. That was the purpose behind the coating. 28, 29.
Sorry, Todd.
Just the resand.
When we did the seams in 14, didn't it, you said it expanded that warranty to 10 more years, right? I thought that's what it was.
No, if we did the seams and the coating at the same time, it would have. So we did the seams, we were talking about doing the coating right after, and we did not do the coating. So this is the coating that we keep pushing out.
Gotcha.
Shocked. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
So we've been pushing this coating out for 10 years?
I got to look back when we did the seams. It was warranty in 2014. I think we did the seams a couple years after that. I'll have to look, we can look back and see.
I think yeah, because I was on the board when they did the seams.
Oh,
It wasn't right in 14. Oh. Get that. Yeah, that's it. So, we have the RHS gym floor for 35, 225, and then middle school gym floor for 32, 239. This is to resand gym floors down, repaint them and all that stuff.
So that goes down to the wood, to the sand. Okay.
And we have the middle school parking and driveways for 228. This would be to pave the entire lot, basically from the end of Stephen K. Bass up there to the beginning of Pool Street. Everything you see in the middle school parking lot. Then we have
Todd, that park, the middle school parking, does that also include the out back?
yes.
Okay.
Doesn't include any additional pavement, just pavement what's there now. That makes sense. Yeah. Next one's RHS athletic field. We currently don't have any game playable fields at RHS site. So we're looking to do an athletic field over to the side where we pull up for a grass field for a total cost of $95,008, which we did get a price in 22. So this is a fairly accurate price. Basically just to level off that area and put a grass field in over there, not turf, not track, not lights on anything, just a grass field they could play on up here.
Relatively flat.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yes. Baby steps. All right, this is, some of those put in here. We have the fiscal year 29-30 RHS upgrade locker rooms and floors. Basically, this is to take the two current locker rooms, rework the lockers to create a team area, team space with team lockers, move the PE lockers, ridiculous portion to the floors and kind of create a better team room for basketball games than was supposed to be.
Is this came about of what we did maybe 15 years ago on discussing this type of thing? Or is that different? You know what I'm talking about? The committee that worked on athletic stuff.
No, this
Is it different? Okay.
was more of a push when, football came in.
Okay.
Because they're gonna use it for football, which I don't think would function as that.
No.
But now it's been.
Yep.
More into like, they would need this team area for the basketball teams. And I think the is, the locker rooms just aren't set up in the best way they could be for team environment, for team stuff. But again, that's why it's kind of keeps getting. So. Let's see, we have the fiscal year 29-30 of the middle school control upgrades. This is just to replace the digital control we have now. Again, there's nothing wrong with them now. It's just when they should be at end of life. That's all I have on marketing narrative.
Anything else for Todd at this time?
Sorry to go out just one way, the middle school air conditioning unit.
Oh, yeah.
We have the
What year is that in?
30-31.
Thank you.
I'm guessing that they replaced all the roof units on there.
Yep.
I mean, the school's gonna be 30-something years old then, so. I don't know how long industrial air conditioners last, but 30 years is pretty decent, I think.
That was a question. Yeah.
What were you looking at, Joe? The LRAS and 31?
No, in middle school.
Oh, middle school, sorry.
So it's like the third line down from the top of 31.
2.877.
Yes, almost 2.9. You all set, Joe?
I'm also with that.
Okay.
I just want to know if it was the entire,
No, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, that's all the units. That's all the units in the school.
All right.
actually, I'm gonna go back up for 1 second. The gymnasium floors. Is that to replace the entire floor?
Oh.
That's what I figured.
Research.
Cause I've noticed some holes in the middle school one.
We did some repairs on those and we do have we did repair the hole. We did repair
Well, there's a couple holes, there's little holes in the front, and then I think there was something about the water getting in on the other side. I think that was repaired too, wasn't it?
I think, yeah, I don't think there's any holes left. We did 2 repairs last year when we first walk in, and then one on the side where the entrance door used to be.
Yeah.
Where they built the building. They probably talked about.
No, there was some right underneath the basket. When you first walk in now,
Yeah.
if you took a right, there was some holes there underneath the basketball hoop.
We did those all in-house actually. Not
How long? I mean, that's an old floor.
That's original 1977.
It's an old floor.
It's no floor, but yeah, we can still sand it. It's been sanded once as far as
I think we got our money's worth out of it so far.
Yeah.
70, again, 48 years old, so.
I just didn't know how much more sanding, if we sanded it every 3 years, I mean.
It's still there. It's still kicking.
I don't think it's only been sanded once as far as I know.
Okay.
No idea.
Everyone else knows. So it can still be sanded again. We, recently drilled holes through it to install the volleyball court. So we can see how thick it was. And when we did the repairs, we can see there's plenty of wood there.
Back in my day. All right, next up, technology. Who's doing that?
I'm Tasha.
Thanks, Todd. You said I got it.
You just say I'm Tasha.
Oh, I did say I'm Tasha.
We're ta- we're
You're doing you're doing the food service, she's doing tech. I got it.
Okay, so in 26-20, is that right? No.
25, 26.
26.
Sorry. So in 25-26, we are looking to replace the infrastructure hardware upgrade and replace the switches for $228,000.
Is that for every school?
District.
Yep,
Can that be broken up?
I can see if we can break it up.
Because again, right now, what is it, over $600,000, the stuff that we need for what we're proposing? And I don't think we're gonna have that much. I think I'm going out on a limb, but, so I'm just thinking of things, what we can do differently. And
Yeah, if you could double, because I thought we just changed the ones at the middle school. Could be wrong about that, but
yeah, that's,
I think we replaced the routers, not the switches.
oh. Damn switch. Rain on our parade, Steve. Come on.
I'm not sure what he's doing, but honestly, sometimes when you replace the switches, you kind of have to replace them all because the versioning and the.
Compatibility, I think that's what he.
Yeah, because if you're using
Which is fine. We'll
older
give an
Ethernet
answer
switches
from
versus
that.
new ones, then the speeds won't matter. If you don't change them all, you won't get what you need.
Yeah, but again, the piece of the pie is only so big.
Yep.
Yeah. All right,
So 26-27, we are looking to replace the wireless environment for $119,000. 27-28, we're looking to replace the VoIP phone system that we got installed during COVID for $12,000. 28-29, nothing. And then since we're doing the firewalls now, we'll be looking to do those again in 29-30 for $62,449.
wait a minute. What year is out?
5, yeah.
5.
It's pretty.
25, 26.
We're in 24-25.
Yeah.
26, 27, 28, 29.
But you're asking in 25, 20, oh, sorry, my bad. My bad.
Okay.
I'm all set. Because I've said that many times tonight.
And then everything just staggers out again with the 3% increase with the current cost that we have for technology.
Because they all kind of repeat, right?
Yep.
Rinse and
5 to 7
repeat.
years.
All right. Any other questions for Marjorie for the technology department before we?
I got the.
Technology.
Say.
Technology.
I'm here, Terry.
Thanks.
All right.
The phone system,
Mhm.
I mean, I know we've kind of patchworked it. Repairs done, because I think they just replaced the phone system last year.
No. So there's different phones. You're probably thinking about the Bogan phones that the classrooms have in each one of their classrooms. These are the regular phone systems to call into the high schools, call into the individual schools, the ones that we have at our individual desks. So they upgraded them during COVID, so that way when we were working remotely, we even got these fancy headsets. Let me tell you how many times.
You guys have the
I used mine.
graphic on the computer, so you could have your phone, but it was here in front of you.
I will say the one good thing about it is that if somebody did call me, like even now, if somebody calls me and I'm not at my office, I'll get the voicemail in my email.
Email.
I do like that aspect of
I
it.
have that at work too.
But during COVID, they updated that's they're updated.
I just would love a phone message from John Harmon, 6:00 at night. Delete.
How do they get in my spam folder?
Yeah.
Gee, I'm hurt by all.
I'm gonna be quiet.
No, you.
Food service?
No, yeah, okay. Food service, 25, 26, we're gonna go all the way down to walk-in refrigerators, LRES, $9,600 for a new walk-in refrigerator.
a walk-in freezer, inside condenser and evaporator at the high school for 13,007. And a walk-in freezer at LRES also for 13,700.
Could we get how old they are? What's the life expectancy of each of them? And are there any ability to push out? I'm assuming I know the answer to the last one, but
Let's walk-in freezer, fridge, we'll just do them all.
Okay.
Over to 2627, food warmer, LRES.
before we go on.
Sorry, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. At the beginning of this, up above the school year or 25, 26 is Tasha's note, I'm assuming, that we've eliminated the ice machine at the middle school and the automatic meat slicer at the middle school. My question is how are we going to handle the ice situation from the middle school, from the high school?
So we eliminated those because she feels like she can get that job done up here and brought over to the middle school for the both of those, the ice and
I
the,
hate to bring this up, but when we discussed the meatballs, we talked about, well, that's not possible to get them from one place to the other. So my question is, we've got the people to do it, to get it back and forth in a timely fashion? Because obviously ice is ice and it melts. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
so I know with the meat slicer, we can bring the meat down. I don't really know if anybody uses ice at the middle school in the food service department.
My follow-up is, what about the athletics? Because athletes are going to use the ice.
They can't use that ice. That was part of the issue. Is that individuals are going into the kitchen and using the ice and contaminating the ice when the ice is for
Yes.
food. So that was shut down.
So how do they get their ice then, the athletes?
I think they bring it over in their coolers from the high school in the ice machine that's in the trainer's room.
I actually have a question about that.
Well, because I'm hoping the adult in the room is doing it, that being the coach. And that's all I'm asking is because I know that when the home games or away games, they're going to want ice water, right? And that's all because I'm not an athlete, but I know what the needs are anyways. Go ahead, Joe.
I know some schools, they have ice in the teachers' lounges, that
A separate machine.
a separate machine. That coaches could use, I mean, anybody could use it. I mean,
And that's what we have in the trainer's room. I think there's an ice machine in the trainer's room at the high school.
At the high
at
school,
the high school.
not the middle school.
Yeah, not at the middle school, no.
And that's what I'm trying to understand. What are we going to do?
I'm gonna be honest with you, the ice machine and that kitchen, Tasha will not let that be used by anybody herself for athletics. It would have to be a separate machine due to code violations, exposure. Cause I was like,
Liability.
Cross contamination.
thank you.
It's a big liability issue if we let people who are not certified captive, food service people to be in there when they're not running.
Well, that was my question. If we put one inside, and I'm sure the training room's not always open though.
I'm sure it's not either.
If we put one,
Well, it's open when we had a trainer and there was an event going on.
well,
Now we don't have a trainer, so I would say,
We'll talk about that next week.
yeah, right, that's another bridge.
Next week one.
to me, it would be more advantageous to put another one somewhere inside, because I'm sure I know we have water in like the teachers' lounge. It would be more prudent to put one somewhere in the middle school.
Yeah, and we just we gotta buy it and figure out where to put it. I think we had talked about taking that one in the kitchen and putting it somewhere
But then
in the facilities room, so that we had ice somewhere.
If we could just have a follow-up to this when we meet again on the CIP.
Okay,
Sorry, I brought you back, but
food warmer, 2627, we have a food warmer at the elementary school for $5,600. We have a range at the high school for $8,400. And a walk-in refrigerator, condenser, and evaporator again at the high school. John will get life expectancy on that again for 9,300.
The, is that the outdoor one?
It says walk-in, so I'm assuming it's the indoor one.
Well, I believe the outdoor one is walk-in also.
Okay, I don't know.
Isn't that a freezer?
I don't
That's
remember.
a freezer, the one that's outside.
Is it like you enter it from inside, but the box itself is outside?
So there's a walk-in
Oh.
freezer.
You're outside when you enter. I believe that's right.
Huh?
The outside freezer is at the high school and the elementary school. The one at the,
Oh, it's a freezer outside, at the high school.
for 27, 28. That one's the freezer at the high school, outside.
Okay. Don't worry about the one, I was just asking for, because it's the one where we're gonna spend money on next year.
Okay.
And
27, 28, we got a food warmer at the middle school for $5,800. And the walk-in freezer, which is outside, replaced the box at the high school, which is 29,000. So that's the outside walk-in freezer.
that's what my question is, can we do something different? Because these others are costing a third of it. And if we, if we can't, that's fine. I believe the original one, this one came from the middle school. Now,
28,
obviously you need space for it inside.
yeah,
That's what the question is, so.
Unless you build something outside that surrounds it, so now it's inside.
elevator.
All right.
28, 29. I gotta go up. Nope, we only have, we got a steam table server line at the high school, 7,028. That's all we have for 28 to 29. 29, 30, we have a food warmer. Nope, excuse me. A food warmer at the high school for 6,183. And refrigerated units serving line, is that? No. Yeah, refrigerated units serving line at the high school for 30,000.
So it's 2 cold units. in
Two
the
cold
building
units.
Plus, a serving counter.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
It's actually for you.
What's that?
It's actually for you.
Okay.
I know why we had the, at one time, the CRF for books,
Yes.
and why we have one for our, special education.
Yep.
How'd this one come about?
Food service?
Food service, because I'm guessing there's a story behind it. We couldn't get stuff, or we eliminated stuff because of the budget. But I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember. I'll be honest, I'm just looking it up at the SAU site so that I can figure out when this was established. Because I don't think I was on the board when it was established, but I'm gonna make a liar out of myself here in a minute. No, I wasn't on the board. Yeah. It was established in 2006. So that would have been March. That would have been the year I was elected. So
You won't know.
my fingerprints are off that. The reason you ask,
Well, the reason why I ask is because literally the CIP committee is looking to.
right, but they make recommendations.
I know, but well, they're gonna make the recommendation to us and the budget committee at the time. They go.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
To actually eliminate anything that's on here.
Yeah, but I would ask the selectmen, how many things are below $100,000 in this year and that they've got plans for? And that's where they want to make the cut. I think that's interesting.
The CIP committee wants to make the CRF strictly buildings and.
Well, I understand what they want.
They don't want it to be anything, and I agree with you that. And I've had the conversation with Doug during the meetings too, like you can't say, oh, just put it in your budget and then cut our budget. Cause that's what eventually ends up happening is we just won't be able to do certain things, and very few of these are niceties that it's, oh, the gym floors. Yeah, it's better to have nicer new floors, but there are a lot of these that are like, we have to have them
Yeah,
for us.
no, But the interesting part of this conversation is for the food service anyways. What is it, $30,000 this year we're talking about? 30 plus?
Nothing.
That means we're just gonna, if it was this year, the fiscal, we would be, or the last year, actually, we would be just increasing the the transfer out of the operating budget because we can't support it. And that's why our policy states anything over $10,000, except for food service, which is $2,500. And the reason it's $2,500 is because, again, we're trying to make it self-sufficient and we can't yet. We haven't gotten there consistently.
No.
And they can make a recommendation, but again, it's a recommendation.
And one of the things I'll bring up at the next meeting, I mean, they look at infrastructure, but they're, in my mind, they're only looking at the hard infrastructure. They're not
And
looking
what
at
does
the
the town
soft.
have? What do they look at?
Oh, same numbers,
Hard infrastructure. Oh, okay.
which,
Well, that's the same, they're making the same recommendation to the town.
but they don't,
They're not just doing
Right,
it for us.
but-
The
but
recommendations
my
from
question
CIP
would
are
be,
across the
again,
board.
how many of these town's items in their current CRF plan or CIP plan is below $100,000?
How many?
It
of
wouldn't
them?
compare,
About them?
wouldn't compare to
No.
what we have.
Oh, no,
And I don't think that's a coincidence.
no, and in fact, they wanted the number to be 200,000.
Right.
So,
They can recommend. Go
um,
ahead, recommend.
the issue is it's a bit of a misnomer because the idea behind it, and I was talking to Terry before, the idea behind it is that it looks like we're better funded, but it only looks like we're better funded if we cut what we need in half.
What do you mean we're better funded?
So if we have 10 items that we need and we can pay for 3 of them, we're 30% funded.
Oh,
Right.
for example, this year, right.
Right. So, but if you cut that list down to 6 items, well, now we're 50% funded. But it's not real
Right.
because
But,
you got rid of 4 things that you need to fund for, and you just said, okay, well, we'll pay for them some other way.
right.
And the
I
idea is
understand.
that it'll go to the budget. Where that falls apart, where that logic falls apart is the assumption being there's money in the budget for the other 4 items. And that's why we know that part's harder for us. We need to be able to, the other side of the coin for me, John, is if we know the refrigerator needs to be replaced, it's silly for us not to plan to replace it. Right? We know it.
That's good business.
I would think you should prepare yourself to pay for stuff you know is gonna break.
Yeah.
So I'm agreeing with you. I'm just,
We're up.
we went round and round during the last meeting I was at, so.
Go ahead, Jim.
surprisingly, they do have quite a bit. It's mostly vehicle, you know, DPW vehicles, water department I mean, we looked at maintenance. They have a lot of maintenance stuff that we.
Right, but it won't compare to the number we have.
Oh, well, I mean, water.
Total value, maybe, but,
Yeah, because the water one was,
right, but where does the water one come from?
well, that's,
Water users, not the taxpayers.
well, the CIP comes from from both, I think.
Okay,
I'm not sure how that, because we have to raise and appropriate, but we really don't. So, I mean,
yep. But again, if you looked at our current CIP for food service, not one single item would be allowed under their recommendations. And again, I underline recommendation.
To be honest with you, there's not much that we would be allowed in the entire CIP
Oh, there was a lot.
that we'd have to cut. I mean, we have big item, but we have to cut out a lot of it too.
No, not much.
I mean, almost everything for fencing.
Security.
Security, all that stuff.
Right, but when you get into AC, boilers, controllers, roof,
Right.
but again, my point is, why are they doing this? What is it that their objective is? And until I hear them say what their objective is, which I haven't heard yet, other than cutting what the school board can do
Again,
or trying to.
they're looking at a CIP as a supplemental budget. Why? I don't know.
I don't understand what a supplemental budget is because a CIP is a budget or a bank account, in essence, a savings account. So how is that a supplemental? It's a savings account.
That's.
The way I understand the goal, John, quite honestly, is they want it to, so we are woefully underfunded. If you look at the numbers, again, it's the backwards math. We say need $10 million,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
If you cut that number back, but we only have 4, then it looks really bad. But if you say we only need 5, well, then we look really good. And that's the point. They want it to look like we're better funded because they think we're misappropriating funds. They not misappropriating. They think we're misallocating these numbers in a way that says, oh, well, this stuff belongs in your budget. It shouldn't be in the CRF. So we're and this is not words anybody said. I'm not saying anybody said this, but the implication is that we're somehow padding our budget because the comment that gets made over and over is, oh, you always have extra money, take it from there. And I
Why
go,
is it, why don't we ever hear? I'm sidetracking, but why is it we never hear that, geez, the selectmen have too much money? 'Cause
Right.
they're always putting money into their, whatever fund it's called.
right,
And last year, March of 23, no, March, this past March, they took approximately 1.8 million in excess funds and funded things in their warrant articles. But nobody talks about that. We always hear about the school having all this money. What about the town?
well, in the reality,
Anyways,
it's not,
we digress because we got a lot to get to tonight.
just to finish the digression.
I don't want to get any more.
It's not extra money. It's money that we budgeted because we needed it and we just couldn't have the people here to work. So we had it because we couldn't hire.
I would dream if I could budget like the town where we budget 2 months before our budget hits the ground running. Because that's what the town is doing. Now, they also have the downside of the first 3 months, or 2.5 months. They have to kind of wait the playing game to see what they get. But again, we start our process next week for something that starts 10 months from then. Wow. Now that I'm feeling better. All right. So, food service we got through. All right. Next, we need to talk about appropriation sides of things in that, well, actually, the last item really, I mean, not the last item. Next thing we should look at is the recommendation or the needs assessment showed that we need $631,351 for 25-26. So my question first, that's this sheet here. So my first question is, last year it was 499,000, I think, 125. Is that right?
Sorry, John, where are you looking at?
This sheet here,
There's a note at the bottom.
that's where we would, that's the traditional, what we would propose for, in this case, 25-26.
That's the planned expenditures page.
Yes.
Right, and that's what technology, food service, and maintenance say we should be doing next year.
Okay.
Like I said before, a few times, we're asking for 631, now it's how much can we afford? And I bring up last year's, or the March number we had, which was, I think, 499, 125. And previous budget, I mean, CIP committee suggested, this was a few years ago, 10%, and that's what we've been doing. Has this CIP committee came up with recommendations to how they want funding? You know, are they saying 20%, 25% to solve our problems, or?
We haven't got to that point yet.
Oh,
No.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. But anyways, traditionally, again, we've gone with 10%.
Are you looking for an escape route?
And then I was just making sure.
I thought you were looking for like an escape route.
Friendly? All right. So what do we want to do? To me, I think we should keep 10%. I think that's, I'd like to do more, but I also
So,
recognize that we've got a lot of other things to do.
so you're
this year.
saying we need 631? Sorry.
Well, this is what is the technology, Todd
Right.
Tasha
I say we need
and Matt are
631.
suggesting or saying we need to do. But each year, we scale it back because we don't have the funding to do that.
Right.
So my question is, we want to add the 10% to last year's CRF amount, which was 499. 125, which I've got the math
So,
here someplace.
Last year's 499 was for all three CRFs?
That's correct.
That was the total?
Yep. And I thought I had the math.
549, 125. I just didn't even.
Yeah, it's 38.
Yeah,
Yeah.
50 grand. The 10%.
Well,
Right.
Bounds out.
right, yeah, so,
Just for easy.
so the new number would be the 549,038, right?
So even if we do that, we're still about $82,000 short.
Right, but again, each year, the needs outweigh usually how much we have. Because we're not funding it like we are. It's just like what?
So,
We haven't even talked about this sheet yet, but
yeah,
if we were funding it correctly in the facilities for this year, 25, 26, we'd put $4.5 million there. So. And that's why the roof here at the middle high school was bonded because we didn't have the funds. And I think we're gonna have to do that on some of the projects coming forward. Cause I just don't, because right now, what do we have? Right now, we have short of, is that number the 193, 1.99 number? Does that include as of on July 1st?
No, that's only as of June 30th.
Okay, so that doesn't include what we spent so far.
Correct.
Okay, so right now
is that our total for all three?
no, that's maintenance only.
1.99 in maintenance.
Yep, 542 in technology, and I'm just truncating
Yeah.
the last three digits. And then in food service, 207. So 207,000
That's what we currently have distributed
as of June
in our
30th.
CRF.
As of June 30th, because some of the places maintenance, I think, has spent, but did we do anything? I think we just saved for technology, right?
So there's
But it doesn't matter.
So there's three things I have to do, right? Because we're just closing these books right now. So I have to transfer the warrant article from last year's surplus. And then I also have to find the amount that was passed on the warrant article. And then once those are done and the projects are complete, then I withdraw the money for the work that we're getting done.
Right, no, I understand. It's, I just wanted to give a sense as to how much we have, because, your next big item is out what? The roof at the middle school, 26, 27, $1.8 million.
So I do want to ask a question and then maybe clarify something because of a conversation we had during CIP. Because there are some, I think, misconceptions about how we do things.
Okay,
Because there was a comment about you put a certain amount of money, so you put a certain amount of money aside and then you take it all. And because
when have we
because-
done that?
well, just like you.
Not recent history.
Well, the perception, John, the perception is we put in 500,000 last year to the CRFs, but we spent, say, 600 because we had.
Well, I understand what they
So the perception,
perceive,
so,
but reality is not that.
well, I think it's important for us to break it down for folks because really what we're doing is we have 1.99 million in facilities and we're taking 366 out of facilities. We have 542 in technology, we're taking 228 out of technology. We have 207 in food service, 37, 246 comes out of food service. Because the implication in what was said was we are not taking things out of the right buckets. That we're mixing stuff up. So just to clarify, the money comes out of the right accounts. The totals are in fact more than what we have put in. So what we do is we end up spending more than we're taking in.
Right, but what,
So our CRFs go down instead of up.
No, that's not the.
That's not what we're doing?
No, because if you look at it, like even this year, for equipments, facilities and maintenance, we had our stuff that we are gonna have and we actually had savings for, I forget what the exact number was, for that CRF. And I think we had.
I've got to pull it up differently.
The technology of food service.
Yeah, and again, back when we were putting aside $227,000 in total into all three, we were often spending all of the 227 or more.
Right.
But we've changed our thinking and now we're up to this March, up to about $500,000 plus 400,000, 300 went to maintenance and 100 went to, special ed.
Right.
We didn't spend all that we put in. I'm gonna find out.
Can I,
And that's why I just wish people would get their facts straight. That's all.
Well, this is why, and the only reason I want to make sure we bring it up now is there are public conversations happening during the CIP committee that are in fact being televised. So people are getting information that might not be accurate. So if that's not correct, then I want you to tell me what is correct.
Okay.
So Marjorie,
This past year, this March. Now, whether we actually do it or not, I'd have to rely on Marjorie for that, but I'm trying to navigate. Get my computer to work for me. Maybe it's the operator. All right. In our maintenance, future projects for maintenance, it was $107,037. Future projects for technology was 9,745. And future projects for food service was 3,642. I'm assuming we're close to that in savings. I mean, we didn't do a lot of overspending this year. So not only did we do that, so we were ballpark 117, about 120,000 in savings ballpark, plus the 400,000 we put aside. 300,000 of which went to maintenance, 100,000 went to CRF. So I don't know how anybody can construe that we're spending it as fast as we get it. It's just not factually correct.
I'd say the last 4 or 5 years, we've
Right.
had,
It's because then we got more aggressive as the town had with using their surplus, for lack of a better word. I don't know what the correct terminology is for the town side.
well, they've been using their unassigned fund balance. to-
Right, whatever they want,
Project-
which is in the millions and millions of dollars. So,
yeah, I'm not trying to say that they are correct. I'm just telling you that.
No, I understand.
Perception. And so here's our opportunity to say, like we
Right.
just gave them.
yeah, you just gotta have the
What's-
facts
what-
in front of you, and that's what they don't have.
I will say it was brought up many times, the idea of, oh God, I forget his name, Dave Ramsey. He does spare me a minute. There's a home budgeting process by which if you have 10 bills, you take money and put it in each of 10 envelopes. One is marked rent, one is marked car. That's how they view this. That's the conversation that was had during the CIP meeting, that if we have a facilities and maintenance budget and a CRF, we shouldn't be buying food service items out of that. This is where it bases, John, and I know it's frustrating.
Service,
We shouldn't be buying a walk-in refrigerator that should come out of food service from our maintenance budget.
right,
We know.
Right.
it's illegal to do.
No, but, no.
But that's,
It wouldn't be legal.
that was the
We'd be
conversation.
violating the warrant articles, and I would hope somebody would catch it, and we're not doing that.
No, what
Right, and-
they're saying is that on our appropriations page that we have.
Yep.
Are we putting $1 in the, control upgrades? Are we doing this? Are we putting money into every separate item that we
Bucket?
have there?
No, it's in a,
No,
it's in a whole fund.
and I've said that, it's the fund, put it in the fund. we-
That's what they want us to
Because
do.
if we had enough money, we could be doing that. Yes,
Right,
but we don't have.
right.
And how do we get there? By increasing the amount we put in. Anyways, I think we need to stop because we're not going to get to everything we need to get done. And
I just need to make sure that, because I have to go to another CIP meeting and represent the board, this board
yeah,
there,
the both of you do, yep.
and make sure that when we come back to them, I have a feeling that this will come back around, because I know we've already been asked for documentation that structures differently than what we
Yeah,
have.
but they're asking our administration to work on things that is in the history, not in the future. Why do we need to have our administrators doing something that is in the history department, not the current or going forward? If they ask for things for going forward, I wouldn't have a problem, but I just don't understand why we've got our highest paid staff in the district working on things that is in the rear view mirror. It doesn't make any sense. And how is that fiscally responsible for the taxpayers? I just don't see it. And it's just, so If it was me, I'd be telling them not to do it, but anyways, again, I'm
Back to the,
subject at hand.
back to the expenditures. If, I mean, are you looking, I mean, yeah, I think we should stick with the 549.38.
Okay.
And
But I wouldn't worry about this stuff yet until we get some answers, and also the elementary school discussion is had next week. Because obviously, whatever we say there could potentially impact decisions that we do on the CIP. But I think it's important that we establish that it's gonna be the 549.38 number. And then we'll get answers back from the questions that we had at the next time we do this in September sometime. So I know the CIP committee's very interested in getting our plan, but I don't think they should be getting a plan that is not done. Is that fair to say? I'm looking
I
for.
mean, I think we should give them at least this plan, just put draft on it and.
Right, but it's not what it's gonna look like. So why do we give them a book where the ending will change? I just don't I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why would we have them spin their wheels on something that has not gonna look like it when we're done?
I think we should give, well, I mean, the appropriations and stuff like that, so they can start looking at 25, 26, because 24, 25 is already, you know.
Yeah, in the rearview mirror.
I mean, give them this one so they can look forward and sit there and say, this is what we have coming forward, instead of trying to look at stuff from this year.
Okay, that's what,
And just, you know, we'll just let them know this is a draft, it's gonna change. I mean, they're gonna do what they want with it anyhow, but.
right. But again, they're gonna start asking questions of our administrators, which they don't need to be doing because we're not done with it. And it just leads to a mess for our SAU. And I just don't understand why we want to do that. I mean, again, we're wasting our time, or the administration is wasting time working on things that we've in a rearview mirror for the CIP committee currently. It doesn't make sense. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree in principle, but you know, we voted to have a CIP committee. We have there, they are advisory. I know there's a lot of reasons why we have it there that have nothing to do with this part of the process. But I think if we're gonna put the time and effort into it, I don't think there's a problem giving them the document. I agree with Joe, just tell them it's a draft. We're gonna have to deal with whatever conversation comes up during that meeting, those meetings regardless, but at least if we have something to speak to,
Right.
It will help.
Can we at least agree that they need to wait to ask the administration questions about it until we propose our final? Again, why do they need to work on something that is, again, not finalized? We've got our administration
Yeah.
busy as it is, and then we're adding more work that isn't adding any value
I would suggest that
to the
maybe
district.
if you come to,
I don't,
to talk to Doug, or maybe talk to Doug separately, but that is a direction from that he would like us to go in.
right, but it's not, is it the majority?
Yes.
It's a pretty,
So then say it's a request from the CIP as opposed to an individual.
sorry,
I think that's only fair to look, you know what I'm
no,
saying?
that's a good point. It's a request from the majority of the board. So,
Right.
or the committee, I guess more appropriately termed.
I tried. All right, so we're gonna go from there, then and I think if we agree, we'll wait on decisions on what we'll be asking the voters of. Is that fair to say? Until in September?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the thought on the $400,000 warrant article that we have been doing the last few years, or a number of years? It wasn't always 400.
I mean, I think we should keep it. Right.
I agree. I just want to bring it up.
I don't know if we want to do 100,000, 300,000 again, but.
What is the sense? We've got now $300,000 ballpark in the CRF for special ed. Do we think we need to go up with that number to be, so that if something happened, get out your crystal ball And we don't have to know the answer today.
I-
You want to talk to Jody?
No, I professionally feel like it should be higher. Professionally, feel like that special ed capital reserve fund should be higher. You're talking right now, the days that we are in, if we have one out of district, moving in, I mean, it could cost us over $200,000. And granted, we do have, after I transfer the money, there will be about $300,000 in there, but.
We also have
One kid.
nearly 500,000, 2.5% money that we could use too,
Yes, yep, you are correct.
on that type of thing, right? That would be allowable.
Yep.
And that's why I'm hesitant to increase the 300,
Okay.
because we have nearly $500,000 of that fund that is there for that type of situation. So we'll figure it out in September, but that's where I've been thinking is, I think it was important to get it up to add 50% to, the 100,000, but
And that 2.5% will actually be increasing too, when I present the paperwork to you next week.
we'll have the ability to increase it.
Yep.
And I'm assuming it's
No, I believe it's larger this year.
oh, wow. We had to lower it
We did.
last year, right? All right. Did anybody have anything else on CIP? All righty. That's been beaten. Next up. Manifest?
Manifest presented to you tonight is payables, $1,192,048.77. Payroll, $386,667.09 for a grand total of $1,578,715.86. What's happening?
I thought
Passed out backwards.
what happened?
I had to plug my computer in.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm thinking, here we are giving manifest numbers and somebody's not here to take them. What are we doing? Anyways.
It's been so long since I've done this, I will email you the spreadsheet.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. And the manifest has been signed, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Get a motion to adjourn?
Moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Now we need to get across the room.